Divorce. It's a word that can carry a heavy weight, a symbol of failure for many. But what if the end of a marriage wasn't a sign of defeat, but a masterclass in what it truly means to love? What if the lessons learned from 3 separate relationships, all culminating in divorce, could provide a more profound understanding of lasting partnership than any single, successful marriage ever could? This is the central thesis of our report today, as we dive deep into the remarkable insights offered by a leading relationship expert who has publicly and bravely shared the lessons gleaned from her own 3 divorces. This isn't just about personal pain, it's about transforming perceived failure into a new blueprint for human connection. So, what do these hard-won lessons mean for the future of modern relationships and our very definition of what it takes to find true, enduring love? To fully appreciate the gravity of these insights, we must first understand the landscape from which they emerge. In the public sphere, a relationship expert is often expected to be the picture of marital perfection. We look to them as a North Star, a guide who has presumably found the one-size-fits-all solution to a happy, lifelong union. Think of figures like John and Julie Gottman, who have built a research empire on predicting marital success with astounding accuracy, or divorce attorneys like James Sexton, who offer a more pragmatic, legalistic view on the fragility of vows. Their authority is derived from their perceived professional and, in many cases, personal success. But the expert we're focusing on today, Dr. Evelyn Reed, operates from a different, arguably more vulnerable, and therefore more powerful position. While a different person named Evelyn Reed was a prominent Marxist and women's rights activist, the Dr. Evelyn Reed we are discussing is a contemporary relationship coach and author who has openly spoken about her multiple marital failures. It's a bold move, a radical departure from the traditional image of a relationship guru. She shatters the illusion of perfection and, in doing so, opens a new, more honest conversation. Her work, including her recent book, After the Shatter, focuses on healing from betrayal and rebuilding self-trust, a path she has walked not once but 3 times. Her story is a testament to the idea that expertise isn't just born from success, it can be forged in the fire of repeated trials. The background is crucial. She isn't just theorizing, she is speaking from a place of lived, painful experience. This is what gives her message its unique weight and resonance. Her 3 divorces aren't a stain on her resume, they are the bedrock of her wisdom. She reframes the narrative of divorce itself, not as a catastrophic end, but as a series of profound, transformative lessons. This shift in perspective is what makes her insights so vital to a generation grappling with unprecedented relational complexity. Now, we move to the core analysis of those lessons. Reed's teachings are not a list of quick fixes or communication hacks. They are a deep dive into the foundational elements of self and partnership. The first, and perhaps most impactful, lesson she presents is the necessity of self-worth. She argues that what you accept in a relationship is a direct reflection of your own self-worth. When you settle for someone who doesn't treat you with respect, or who fails to meet the standards you desire, it's often because, deep down, you don't believe you are worthy of more. This isn't about blaming the victim, it's about empowerment. It's a harsh but necessary truth: you are the one who teaches people how to treat you by what you are willing to tolerate. The second lesson is the critical difference between love and compatibility. We are often sold the idea that love is enough, that if 2 people simply love each other, they can overcome any obstacle. Dr. Reed's experience, however, suggests a more nuanced reality. She found that despite the presence of genuine affection, incompatible lifestyles and fundamental differences in needs and values led to inevitable conflict and misery. Love can exist in a platonic form, a kind of deep care for another person, but that doesn't automatically translate into a functional romantic partnership. This is a brutal but honest assessment that challenges the romantic ideal perpetuated by media and culture. The third lesson is about the importance of giving love, not just seeking it. In her first marriage, she admits to being preoccupied with how she could get love and feel cherished. The constant struggle to extract love from her partner led to fighting and emotional exhaustion. Through her journey, she learned to shift her focus from receiving to giving. By actively performing gestures and actions that made her partner feel cherished, she found that the love she received in return was more fulfilling and authentic. This is a powerful reframe, from a transactional model of what can I get to a generative one of what can I give. It's a lesson that requires immense emotional maturity. The fourth and fifth lessons are intertwined: the need for personal autonomy and the futility of trying to fix your partner. Dr. Reed emphasizes that you must have a life separate from your partner to maintain a healthy dynamic. Enmeshment, where 2 lives become one undifferentiated blob, kills desire and fosters codependency. She also learned to stop trying to fix her partner's emotional problems or use control as a mechanism to manage her own anxiety. She recognized that her happiness was her own responsibility, and while a partner can contribute to it, they cannot be the sole solution. The final lesson is about going with your gut. She reflects on having reservations before one of her weddings, but proceeding out of a sense of obligation to family and the existing plans. She now recognizes this as a critical failure of self-trust. The quiet voice of intuition, she argues, is often the most reliable guide, and ignoring it for the sake of social pressure is a recipe for regret. We've covered the background and the key lessons, but the real question is what happens next. Before we dive into the potential outcomes, let me know your predictions in the comments below. Do you agree with these lessons? What do you think is the single most important lesson to learn from a failed relationship? Your perspectives are invaluable to this conversation. Now, let's continue our analysis. Dr. Reed's work is part of a larger cultural shift. We are moving away from the fairy tale ideal of happily ever after, and towards a more realistic, and perhaps more resilient, view of relationships. Her message resonates with a generation that has grown up with high divorce rates and the complexities of modern dating. Her 3 divorces aren't a scarlet letter. They are a sign of her willingness to repeatedly bet on love, and to learn from each loss. This vulnerability is what builds a bridge to her audience, who may be grappling with their own relational challenges. Her 3-pillar system, detox, discernment, and rebuilding, is a practical framework born from this experience. It's a structured approach to a deeply chaotic process. Detox is about calming the nervous system and processing the initial trauma of betrayal. Discernment is about regaining self-trust and learning to spot red flags. Rebuilding is about forging new, resilient connections. This isn't just about recovering from a bad relationship. It's about actively building a better future, armed with the wisdom of the past. The long-term consequences of this kind of messaging are profound. It normalizes failure as a part of the human journey. It shifts the focus from finding the right person to becoming the right person for a healthy partnership. It encourages radical self-honesty and personal accountability. It destigmatizes divorce, reframing it as a painful but potentially growth-filled chapter rather than a life-ending tragedy. In a world saturated with superficial relationship advice, Dr. Reed's grounded, experience-driven approach offers something more durable. Her journey is a microcosm of a larger societal evolution in how we view commitment, failure, and the pursuit of genuine connection. It's a painful process to learn these lessons, but the wisdom gained is priceless, and she is sharing that wealth with the world. So, what's the future outlook for these ideas and for Dr. Reed's work? We can expect to see a growing acceptance of this new, more realistic narrative around relationships and divorce. As more public figures share their stories of multiple divorces, the conversation will continue to shift from one of shame to one of self-discovery. Look for a continued emphasis on personal growth as a prerequisite for a healthy partnership. We can also expect to see new therapeutic models and coaching frameworks that incorporate these lessons, moving beyond traditional couples counseling to focus on individual healing and self-worth. The trend toward emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and personal responsibility will only accelerate. The challenge, of course, will be for people to put these lessons into practice. It's one thing to intellectualize about self-worth and compatibility. It's another to act on those principles when faced with the emotional complexities of a relationship. Dr. Reed's contribution is not just in identifying the lessons, but in providing a roadmap for how to apply them. It's a path that starts with the hard work of looking inward, of accepting that sometimes the most painful endings are the ones that lead to the most meaningful new beginnings. Her journey from 3 divorces to a celebrated expert is the ultimate proof of concept for her own teachings. It's a powerful narrative that promises not a perfect relationship, but a more authentic and resilient self. If you found this analysis insightful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth reports on culture, finance, and human behavior. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next update on this and other developing stories. Your input is what makes this community thrive, so be sure to share your own analysis and experiences in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next update.